Hello everyone, welcome once again back to the mass transfer course. So as you all know, we are discussing the operation of drawing in the sixth unit of the course. So we have completed the three classes on the topic. So this is our fourth class, so in which we are continuing the discussion that we started in the previous class. So in the last class, we learned about the drying test and the rate of batch drying, and also we discussed about the drying characteristics of wet solids with the help of drying rate curves that can be plotted by using the results obtained in a drying test. So with that, let us now learn how to estimate the time of drying under constant drying conditions. So what is the time required for constant rate period and what is the time of falling rate period? Okay, so let us now take up that problem. So time of drying under constant drying conditions is nothing but when you consider wet solids that are being dried by passing hot air over them under constant drying conditions, the time required to dry the material from the initial moisture content to the final will be the sum of time required during the constant rate period and also the time required during falling rate period. So the total time required for drying a particular substance in a given dryer from some uh, initial moisture content to some final value of moisture content is the sum of time required during the constant rate period and time required during the falling rate period. So all of you hope I know, I just hope that you remember what is the constant rate period and a falling rate period. So let us now first see how we can find out the time required during the constant rate period. So if x1 is the initial moisture content of the wet solids and x2 is the final moisture content during the constant rate period, and let also xc be the critical moisture content. So you all know what is a critical moisture content, such that x1 and x2 is greater than xc. So we have assumed that the initial and the final moisture contents in the given drying operation to be in the constant rate period. Okay, so these two values are greater than the critical moisture content. So we know the equation for a rate of drying. If we assume R to represent the rate of drying, R equals minus SS by A into dx by dt. So this is the rate of removal of moisture with respect to time, and SS represents the weight of dry solids and A is the area of the drying surface. So R is the rate of drying, which is expressed as the amount of moisture evaporated per unit time per unit area of drying surface. Okay. So R can be written as RC, the constant rate period. The constant rate of drying. So because we are finding out the time during the constant rate period, so then the equation becomes RC equals minus SS by A into dx by dt. So we know what is SS. It's the mass of dry solids in kgs. A is the area of drying surface in meter square. RC is the rate, constant rate of drying in kg per meter square hour. And T represents the time of drying, which is usually expressed in hours. Let us rearrange the equation number 2 and integrate between the limits to get the final equation to estimate the time of drying during constant rate period. Okay. So then dt is equal to minus SS by ARC into dx. RC is constant. So along with SS, A and RC, the together whole term becomes constant. So it can be taken out of the variables for the purpose of integration. So integrating this equation between the limits when t equals 0, x equals x1, when t equals t, that is the final time required, then x will be equal to x2. So simple integration giving you the equation t equals ss by ARC x2 minus x1 in bracket will become x1 minus x2 after taking in this negative sign inside. Equation 3 gives the time of drying for drying the material from x1 to x2 in the there has been some words left out here. So T here represents the time required to dry the given material from initial moisture content x1 to final moisture content x2 in the constant rate period. Okay, so that should have been the right sentence. Sorry for the mistake. Okay, so this is our final equation for the constant rate period. If the given material is dried up to critical moisture content instead of some moisture content x2 greater than xc, then you can replace this x2 with xc and the equation will become Tc. We can write the time required as Tc because this represents the total time required in the given drying operation for the entire constant rate period. So Tc is equal to Ss by ARC x1 minus xc is your final equation. Okay, so that is the time required during the constant rate period. Let us now consider the falling rate period. During this period, the rate of drying is proportional to the free moisture content. Okay, so we can write the basic equation of rate of drying as like this. So R represents rate of drying. R will be equal to Ss by A with minus sign dx by dt. Okay, so minus sign indicates the gradient decreases with respect to time, the difference in concentration of the moisture. So that is equal to m into x minus x star. So m represents the function, and the equation is saying that the rate of drying is proportional to x minus x star, which represents the free moisture content in the given substance, and m is the proportionality constant in this equation. So this is equation number 5, where x star is the equilibrium moisture content and x is the initial moisture content of wet solids that is less than the critical moisture content. Okay, so let x1 be the initial moisture content and x2 be the final moisture content such that x1, x2 are less than xc. So since we are finding out the rate within the falling rate period, we have to assume the initial and the final moisture content to be less than the critical moisture content. So because it is the critical moisture content at which the rate becomes starts reducing from being constant during the constant rate period. So assume that the entire falling rate period is represented by a straight line CE as follows. So if you go back and recall our rate of drying curve, so the constant rate period line will be straight and the falling rate period was composed of two periods again. So up to one period we can represent it by with a straight line. The remaining portion was a curve. Okay, for the present purpose, what we can do is we can assume that the entire falling rate period can be represented by a straight line CE. Okay, so E represents the equilibrium moisture content, you know this, so that is x star, and the starting point C represents the critical moisture content xc. Okay, now so in this diagram, if you look at, then m is the slope of the line CE will be equal to RC divided by xc minus x star. Okay, so this distance divided by this distance, that gives you the slope of the line CE. Okay, so where m is the slope of the line CE. So if you substitute m from this equation in the earlier equation, that is equation number 5, Then the equation number 5 becomes minus ss by a into dx by dt equals that place where you had used m, that gets replaced with rc by xc minus x star into x minus x star. So now this is your equation number 5. So now we can separate the variables and integrate the equation. So minus dx can be taken to this side along with the respective term x. The term which involves x minus x star is retained over here to carry out the integration. That equals arc by ss. Xc minus x star are constant values, so they can be kept outside the differential term. So into dt. So now let us integrate this equation between the limits. Okay, so as usual, t varies from 0 to t, and the moisture content x1 varies from x varies from x1 to x2, where x1 and x2 are less than the critical moisture content. So since we are considering the falling rate period, excuse me. So after performing integration, the final equation what you get is ln x1 minus x star divided by x2 minus x star arc by ss into xc minus x star into t. Or we can rearrange the terms to get the equation as t is equal to ss into xc minus x star divided by arc ln x1 minus x star divided by x2 minus x star. Okay. So if the given material is to be dried from critical moisture content xc to the final moisture content x2. So initially we assumed some initial moisture content x1. Okay. So if you want to find out the total time of drying for the entire falling rate period, then you have to consider the initial moisture content as xc and the final moisture content as x star. Okay. So then the time of drying by writing down xc for x1 will be like this. Tf is equal to ss xc minus x star divided by arc into ln x1 gets replaced by xc minus x star divided by x2 minus x star. So this is your equation number 6. So this is the final equation for finding out the time required for falling rate period or during falling rate period. So assuming that we dry the material to some final moisture content x2, so that is less than the equilibrium moisture content. So we can add both Tc and Tf as obtained in the discussion so far to get the total time of drying. So the total time of drying will be equal to time required during constant rate period plus time required during falling rate period. So T is equal to Tc plus Tf. So then T is equal to Ss by ARC x1 minus xc plus Ss into xc minus x star divided by ARC ln xc minus x star divided by x2 minus x star. So here x1 is the initial moisture content greater than xc and the x2 is the final moisture content less than xc. Okay. So after taking out the constant terms in both the terms on the right hand side, the final equation is written like this. T is equal to Ss by ARC into x1 minus xc plus xc minus x star ln xc minus x star divided by x2 minus x star. Okay, x1 is initial moisture content, x2 is final moisture content, xc is the critical moisture content, and x star is the equilibrium moisture content. Then Ss is the weight of dry solids, A is the area of drying surface, Rc is the constant rate of drying. Okay, so with that, let me conclude the discussion. on drying operation with respect to the principles of drying. From next class onwards, let us understand or study about the different types of drying equipments used in industries and how they are constructed, how they are operated, and all the applications, so that at the end of the course you'll be able to identify which type of dryer is suitable for which kind of material. Okay, so this is what you learnt in today's class. We learnt how to derive the equations to find out the time of drying both during constant rate period and falling rate period, and how to estimate the total time of drying. Thank you again for listening to me. So, see you again in the next class. Till then, take care.